What do you think it means to have the best ever start in Minecraft Hardcore? Well, today I'm going to show you. First, we need to start up a world, chop a tree, make wooden tools, and then some stone tools. Then, we need to follow a Minecraft tradition and kill every single animal within a 100 block range. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been playing Minecraft for about 13 years now off and on, but I've never played hardcore mode, or even single player for that matter. And I think if I want to survive to do all the big things I want to in this video, like make over 10 different farms, create a starter house, and create the best villager trading hall that's ever been seen, I'm gonna need to go get some iron and make some good armor, because this may not be my first attempt at trying this. While down in the mines, I found my first diamonds. And that just inspired me to get a lot more diamonds. So that's what I spent a good bit of time doing. Which allowed me to upgrade a few tools and pieces of armor. With the basics of Minecraft out of the way, now it's time to actually get down to business and plan out what we're going to do here. I found this field that I think could work pretty well. The goal here is going to make a whole Quidditch pitch, one of the largest ones seen in Minecraft, let alone hardcore, and then we can put all of our villagers in there. So up on this hill is where we're going to make our starter base. And every good starter base needs a way down to bedrock. So we are going to dig a mine the whole way down. And this totally didn't take an hour and a half. And with that out of the way, we can now start making our actual house. And I think I'm gonna try a new editing style here and see if I can edit to a song. So here we go. And just like that, our house is now done. Took a few hours longer than I expected, but I think it came out pretty well. And let me give you a quick little tour. Got everything you would expect out of a starter base, some storage, all of our furnaces and crafting table, a secret chest for all of our valuables, an upstairs with our bed, where our enchanting setup's gonna go, a nice little patio so we can get a nice view. Right there is where our Quidditch pitch is gonna be, so we'll be able to see that all nice and clean. And then, in the basement is where our mine is, goes the whole way down, and we got another portal. So now, we need to work on some starting farms because I am very broke. Like a cow farm? A sheep farm? a pig farm, an automated chicken farm that also cooks the chicken, sugarcane, automatic cactus, pumpkin and melon, bamboo, sweet berries, spruce, cherry, and acacia trees, mangrove and jungle trees, and finally dark oak, normal oak, and spruce. Then we got all the crops like wheat, carrots, beetroot, and potatoes. And now we can finally start building our villager hub. Now this is going to take a lot of oval shapes, and since we are playing 1.21, which just came out, we don't have all those fancy mods that do all the building for you like most of the YouTube videos out there. So we're going to need to freehand this. But I think we can still give it a shot. We'll use some snow to make the outline. And right about here is where I realized how much terraforming this project's going to involve. I thought putting it between two mountains would be a good idea, but that might cost me a good 30 hours down the road. We'll see. And we're done with the outline, which means we can now build the next string. Like this. And with that we can build the next layer like this. And finally the last one like this. Now to build the pitch we're going to want some variance in there, so I think we're going to need to alternate between grass and green terracotta. Which means we need to go find some terracotta and mine for a few hours. With a quick break to take care of this scammer. And then some sand. And all this might not seem like a big deal, but you gotta remember, I'm only a few days into this world, so my tools are not good and they're breaking fast. Now that we have all of our materials, we need to figure out what pattern we're gonna place. I think if we just alternate the terracotta with the grass, it should give us the nice textured look we're going for. We can start with the easy part, with placing the sand on either side. And to round it all out, the middle circle. Now I couldn't help but feeling that something is missing. And it hit me. This is Survivor Minecraft. And this is a lot of blocks that have no lighting. So I think to add some texture and to make this place a bit safer, we should line it with lichen. Which means it's time to head to the nether. And hopefully we didn't judge that embarrassingly long fight with a ghast before I just gave up. But we need to find some bones, because we need a lot of glow lichen. And while in the nether, I found the netherite template, which will definitely help us later. And with the help of all those bones, we can start placing the lichen. I think I'm going to do it on the grass block just because it stands out a bit more. But luckily I can just use the bone meal to place it all. I don't even need to place it. And with that, the pitch is done. And it looks even cooler at night. Here, let me show you. And here's where I want to mention a huge shout out to Planet Dragonod. He has some videos going over how to build a Quidditch pitch, and I've heavily inspired this based on it. I definitely put my own twists on it, but without his inspiration I probably wouldn't be making this. And for this next part, I definitely needed his guidance. And with that, the first corner is done, which means we now just need to repeat it 1, 2, and 3 more times. And now all 4 corners are done and have a slope. And now it's time to make some decisions about how the rest of this build's going to go. For the towers, we need to decide what block we're going to use between wool, concrete, and terracotta. We need to do all the house colors and decide which looks best. I think I'm leaning towards concrete, so I think I'm going to go with that. And with that, go back to material gathering. So we need to get many chests of gravel, many chests of sand, and then a few stacks of every type of dye. And then, because I don't have a concrete converter, we got to do it the good old-fashioned way and spend a good hour or so converting it all. Good thing for Netflix. And after getting some quick glowstone, we're ready to start the towers. Once that tower got above 50 blocks, which is outside of my water bucket clutching skills, I really decided it's time to tackle the Ender Dragon. So I had to head back to the Nether and get all blaze rods and Ender Pearls. We got some quick potions. And went on our way to find the enter door. And finding the room, once we finally got there, took about 15 minutes. So I think we need a little montage of that. with that, we can start the epic dragon fight, which you will see probably a couple thousand times, so I'm just going to quickly speed through that. And now we can do what we actually came to the end for. Get an elytra. We might as well pick up some shovels on the way. And because elytras have no durability, we need to start with villagers. So I brought a bunch into a hole deep underground, and we're going to start breeding them. And then I get librarians, get mending, unbreaking, and I actually have a way of transporting onto these dang towers. And now we can get back to the towers. We already got Tower 1 done, so now let's do Tower 2. Tower 3. And Tower 4. And while up here, I noticed we passed day 200. Time sure is flying on this thing. And now we can jump to the next type of tower building. It has this little curve in it, so it's only a little bit different than the straight edge ones. But we've gone through all of our concrete that we converted on those last ones, so now we're just going to use powder. Hopefully it looks cool when we pour water down it at the end. And it did turn out looking good. And using water saved us a full diamond pickaxe ton of converting, so that's a win as well. The next type of tower is just a straight corner edge, so it should be pretty easy to build. So let's give it a shot. And with that, the first tower is done, which means we can do more transitions like this to the second tower. And to the third. And finally to the fourth. And now all that's needed is to add the top of the towers, which we can do just like this. And now that we've got all 12 towers done, we need to add a place for spectators. So we need to decorate all 3 versions of the towers in their own unique way, and I think another montage would be good for that. And they're done. Those should make a pretty good home for our librarians once we get to that point, but for now I think they look pretty dang good. So in the Chamber of Secrets, when Harry's being chased by that bludger, do you remember the tunnel they go through right by the side of the pitch? That's what I think I need to work on next. And this may have taken as long as watching all three Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so for a detail that you can't really see, it still came out really well. And the digging's done. But to actually build it, we're gonna need a ton of logs. And later parts of this project are gonna need a ton too, so we need to take a break and go get all that. And with a quick jump, the tunnel is done. I figured you guys have seen enough building for now, and this is a part that we really don't see much, so it's now done. We can fly around just like Harry and Draco. And just like Harry, I almost died. Now, before we go any further, as we look around, we can see we've made quite a mess by putting this between two mountains. So I think we need to spend an evening terraforming a bit. And just like that, the landscape is beautiful again. Which means we can get back to building and build the rest of the spectator stands. And with that, we now pass day 300. I need to make 4 of each of these supports and pedestrian sitting areas. So let's start with the easy one, the one that just goes straight across. Next, we need to make the 4 curved supports. the 4 edge supports. And finally, the 2 end supports. And with that, all of the stands are done. That was definitely a lot bigger and more detailed than I expected, but I think it looks totally worth it. And now for one of the most important pieces, the goalposts. And with the hoops done, we now have a completed Quidditch pitch. So we can fly around simulating the game, throw snowballs through the hoops, and just generally we have a really good pitch now. But that's not really enough. We need to do something that's never been done before. These towers are usually made of fabric, and the closest thing to fabric inside Minecraft are banners. So what if we used thousands of banners to simulate the different styles in the movies? Now, as of this point, I've been preparing for this a bit by shearing sheep this whole time, and I've gotten a few double chests worth of wool so far. But little did I know, after starting this, I would quickly realize how much wool it takes to make a banner. And I didn't do the math on it ahead of time, but I would need over 90,000 wool to make all these banners. I was actually so worried about these banners not working that I threw on some shaders and recorded an ending to this video just in case. And I think it's still worth showing just because it looks pretty cool flying around. Now, I've never really made banners before, so I was kind of making it up as I went. Because we gotta make 5 different sets of banners here. The Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff ones, as well as the black and white ones for the other stands. So, I don't know how well they came out, but I think they end up being a pretty good product. So I started to place the banners, and here's what they're looking like as of now, and it's just not quite doing it. We definitely need to do the double layer, which means we need to double the number of banners. And right about here is where I started to realize just how much wool this was going to take. But we also passed day 400 here. Hopefully we get this whole thing done by day 500 because, oh, I did not expect this. So I expanded the sheep farm and made it big enough so that I can just constantly shear sheep, and by the time I get back to the beginning, they're all ready to go again. All these chests is just a few rounds of that. Every tower takes at least a whole chest of banners. So definitely need all these sheep. And these sheep aren't even everything there. There's a few more layers on. So I redid the Gryffindor tower with banners on every single block, and it definitely looks 10 times better. So now we just got to do that for the rest of the place. I have about 8-ish hours of footage for this next piece, so I definitely think we need a montage here. And just like that, the banners are done. I think they look pretty good. So you're gonna have to wait till the final montage to see what these look like with a mod installed that keeps them fully loaded. But even just as is, when they load when you get close, they look pretty cool. And it also means we no longer need 1,600 sheep here, which means it's time to kill them all. And before we do the villagers, we need a few more spectators. Luckily I've been killing cows this whole time, so I have at least a double chest of leather. So let's go place armor stands all around the stands. Now this isn't your typical villager trading hall. It's very big and weird shaped. But it actually worked out perfectly that every single piece of the stands can be its own villager type, and then all the librarians can go in the towers. and it's the perfect number for how many villager trading types there are. But the pain is we need to build a rail to every single section, transport a few villagers, and come back and change the rail so we go to the next one. So this might take a few nights. And while pushing the 150 villages that we need up this rail, I needed some more iron for the mine perks. So while looking for that, I came across a trial chamber. And I'm gonna cut back to what happened my last attempt at doing hardcore for this video. I couldn't just wimp out though and not give it another shot, so I just dove right in, even though I still have no clue how these things work. And with the key I got from the first spawner, I ended up getting nothing good. And that was kind of what happened this whole entire thing. Since I've googled it, apparently you can have like harder versions of this and get better loot, but I didn't know that, so I'm just going to mostly skip through the rest of this and get back to our build, where all of the villagers have now been unloaded into their homes. Which means we can break all these rails, place all the job blocks, and right on day 500, we are now done. So thank you so much for watching. This was the first Minecraft video I've tried to make, and it's taken over a month. You can see I took up to 500 days to make it. Make sure to go check out Planet Dragonod, because he was a huge inspiration for this build. And if you want to see more, please consider subscribing, letting me know what you think in the comments, and any ideas you should think I should make in the next hardcore. Thank you, and enjoy this final montage.